our test speaker. Family, please welcome to the stage our test speaker, Rosalyn Kahn. Rosalyn, please unmute and turn on your video and confirm that you can pin the timer, please, with an audible yes contest team.
I see the timer. Let me pin the timer. I'm always kind of slow on that. Just a second here. Got it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Let me introduce you first. Rosalyn Kahn, Navigating the Winds of Change. Navigating the Winds of Change, Rosalyn Kahn.
I'd like to take you back with me to UC Santa Barbara on the West Coast. I had enrolled in a sailing class. Yes, a sailing class. And as we got in the boat, they gave us this very careful instructions. They said, you know, when the winds come up, you need to take this and you go this way and you're going to be fine. If you go that way, you're going to go into the rocks. Well, life sometimes takes you to the rocks. And that's why today we're going to talk about navigating change and how we overcome those obstacles in life. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Today, I'd like to go ahead and talk to you about 3 important events in my life. First one is scoliosis at the age of 13. Secondly, I'd like to tell you about an experience I had in teaching. And thirdly, I'd like to tell you about my new avocation. All right, so here we go. Taking back the curves of time, when I was about 11 years old and I was in 6th grade in California, they told us to bend down and touch our toes. And when I touched my toes, they said there was something wrong with my back. And they sent me to the doctor. And they said, well, young lady, you have some exercises you need to do. But hey, do you know any teenagers in our world at the age of 11, 12, or 13, or do they follow anything you do? Nah, of course not. So I didn't listen to what they said. 2 years later, I was running around the track in junior high, and I fell over a rock. And I broke the growth plate in my ankle, which meant that that curve in my back had doubled. And so imagine if you put your hands around your waist and you squeezed as tight as you possibly could until you couldn't breathe. Yeah, that's what it felt like to have a body cast on. And that's what they did when they put on that brace. And we tried it on and I got to take it off 2 times. One, when I got in the pool and I went swimming. And number 2, when I took a shower. But less than a month later, they decided it didn't work well enough. So I got to enter high school in a body cast. Now imagine if you were in high school and you looked like a member of the football team, except you weren't a member of the football team, how low and small you went ahead and felt. Well, the good side of this is from this experience of having 6 months in a body cast in my first year at high school, it taught me my first most valuable lesson. I have a deep compassion for people who might have had a broken wrist, might hobble, might have some difficulty, because I was once in that place. I knew what it was like to have people look at me and think there was something wrong when it was just a body cast. And so that taught me to be a more compassionate person. The next story I'm going to tell you about is my life in teaching. In my life in teaching, I've been a teacher in academia for about a couple decades. And in those couple decades, life has been really good and it's had some bumps and hurdles along the way. This last semester, I was given this prestigious award here. It is for the most outstanding faculty at Los Angeles City College. And in my accolades in teaching, I've helped students get on to intramural competitions on campus where they ended up becoming number 1. There was a time where I had a fall and my arm was in a cast, and I walked in and I said, you know, I might have something on my arm, but that doesn't mean I got a problem upstairs here. And that semester, I took all my students at all my schools, and they went on to be the number 1 and 2 speaker. And at the 3rd school, I came back and said, hey guys, it's up to you. You can go ahead and do it. Well, that was all exciting. In my last semester at the college here, I had a few little challenges and difficulties, even though I got this at the beginning of the semester. At the end of the semester, it seemed like the gauntlet was out there and they were in for the victim and they were in for the kill. And, you know, it didn't seem to matter. Whatever I did, it never was right. I couldn't find that right magic juice. My students loved me. My evaluations were best that they ever could be. But somehow that took me down a different path. And when I came upon that different path, I decided to take this anger, this fear, this angst that people were saying things that weren't true, to transform it into a creative power. I began thinking one day, what if I took up watercolors and started doing some painting? And as I started doing these paintings, I had a friend who said to me, you know, if I were to put a premonition on where I think I see you going, I'd call you an impressionist painting. And I brought a couple samples to show you. One person told me that it's really fun if you paint on different devices. And so I took this, which was a styrofoam, and I started painting on the different fingers of the different hands. And it's really fun because it releases that pressure, that anxiety. Before today's meeting, it was kind of a rough morning, and I love painting flowers. I love painting dogs. I love painting animals. And so I created this guy. He's right here. And what's really neat and exciting about it is they call me the happy painter, the one that paints from her heart and her hands and her eyes. And so I wanted to take you back to that trip on the boat back at UC Santa Barbara. And I said, if you go this way, you're good, and you see the open skies, and you go this way, you're onto the rocks. Well, I told you about the rocks, the one I ran over in high school that got me into a body cast. I told you about the hurdles of school, of getting this medal and no longer teaching. And then I told you about the arts. And so you want to remember, life gives you two options. When you're navigating that sea of change, you want to make sure the change is on the upswing, not the downswing. Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you so much, and welcome to District 36. Virtual hosts, please move all the appropriate individuals, our evaluation contestants from 71 and 72, and our stand-in SAA, the breakout room, and confirm that this had happened with a "you may proceed." That would be greatly appreciated.
Let me double check, Madam Contest Master.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I do have our 5 contestants for evaluation and the SAA in the speakers area.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Timer 1, I'm going to need your help with this one. I want you to set your clock to 5 minutes. I want you to show me the green light at 4, the yellow at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and the red at 5. Okay? They'll give me an indication that we've used up our minutes. I appreciate your help with that. Rosalyn, first of all, welcome and thank you for answering our call. You are with a really special club called Leaders Worldwide. Tell me about your club. I've had some time to visit your club many times, but tell me a little bit about Leaders Worldwide.
Well, what I really like about Leaders Worldwide, it's a club that has people from internationally all around the world. So if you want to have the opportunity to meet with people from India, Pakistan, United Arab Emirates. It's everywhere, and there's always a challenge. We have a great leader. Her name is Cynthia Stott. She's always pushing people on to the next level. And she sent out a thing and said, "Hey, Rosalyn, you want to get some practice in giving a speech?" And I'm always on the practice of giving a new speech. There's new opportunities. We do exciting things, and so if you guys are ever looking to find a great club, please come out to our District 57 Leaders Worldwide.
Fantastic. I love that. And Cynthia is very close to my heart. I love your email because I like to call them tags. And your tag is master the message with passion and purpose. Tell me about that tag. Why that?
Well, there was this guy and he had a workshop and he said, you've got to come up with a message and a slogan which says who you are. And I created this many years ago because I am a speaker. I've been on a big stage called TED, given TED Talks. And I feel very confident about speaking because I've been speaking for quite a few years. And I thought what I really do is master that message. And if you're not passionate about it, you can't speak about it. I'm very passionate about that talk on scoliosis. I actually did a TED on it. And I'm very passionate about what happened in that world of teaching. But I think the beauty is what comes through the art. And you can see when I went ahead and talked about that, you could see my passion was really high and through the roof.
I love that. And let's talk a little bit about your TEDx experience. Many are like, oh, the international speech contest, right? Becoming an accredited speaker, fantastic. Tell me, what's that extra nugget? What does being a TEDx speaker mean to you as a Toastmaster?
Oh, it was unreal. I mean, it's a speech that I practiced over 40 times, rewrote 30 times, and I have a mind that I can just bring the picture back to me. And I remember being on that stage and it was pitch black dark. And I remember standing in that room. And even though I practiced it a million times, I was still practicing in the green room and coming out there and seeing and speaking and seeing the people in the audience. And when I got up to the guy who was the advisor for this group, he just looked at me and he said, "You did it, Rosalyn. I can't believe you did it." And I just felt so good. It's the best feeling that you could ever have. And it was so good that I actually went ahead and did a second one and a third one. And
All right, that's fantastic. And what did you talk about in your other iterations of your TEDx?
well, the other one was about scoliosis, coming around the curve on my battle with scoliosis. And the third one was called Breaking Cultural Barriers and how everyone can make a difference. And I'm trying out for the next one that they're going to have in my Leaders Worldwide. It's going to be something that I touched on. It's about adapting change in your life, of how we take those obstacles and turn them into opportunities.
I love that. Talk about making a difference. You are also an educator. You talked about that in your speech and from your website, and you have a fantastic website. You talk about why it's important to teach young adults about public speaking. Tell us a little bit about that passion that you have for teaching young people about the power of public speaking.
Well, when I think of young kids, I go to this 10-year-old girl whose name is Kyra Persebre. And Kyra Persebre is a 10-year-old girl who's from Hawaii, and she is just beautiful. And just seeing the changes that she's made, or the people who've come in my class, Tyler Gordon, and he's like, "Well, I'm kind of embarrassed." I'm like, "Don't be embarrassed. Just be yourself. Just tell the message of what you have to get out there and say who you are." And I was at an event last night with a young Filipino kid, and I said, "So you're going to be president someday?" And they were up on the stage saying, "Who knows? There might be a president of the United States." And he kind of shocked. And, it's the motivation that we give young kids that really give them that inspiration, that tell them that there's a world out there that they can experience. And that is my passion for kids.
I love that. And if people don't know, not only you're a fabulous speaker, but you are a painter. So you paint beautiful stories with words, but you also paint them with colors. Tell me, if you could paint something miraculous to talk about your experience as a speaker, your passion for children, what would that portrait or what would that picture look like?
Well, I'd have a caricature of myself. I'd have a big audience out there. I'd have hearts coming out. It would be bright in many different colors because I love things that are striking, and smiles. Just smiles. When I create it, I'll let you know.
Awesome. Please share it with us. And today you brought us so many smiles. I want to thank you for visiting us. Please come back to District 36. We so appreciate you. And just as a reminder, during the evaluation speeches for you, when you get your feedback, you can stay muted on your microphone, but please have your camera open so we can see your face. We would love to appreciate you. But during the moment of silence, you're more than welcome to turn off your camera. But thank you so much. And thank you for all you do on behalf of Toastmasters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalyn. Virtual host, if you would do me a favor, can you bring in Area 71 contestant number 1? She